critics around the world.
Hi, I'm Peter Kaufman, and I was the director of Techannisqatsi. And I'm Peter Kaufman, and I was the cinematographer of Techannisqatsi. And we're going to keep up the charade about there being two of us for the entire director's commentary. So, let's see, you may be asking yourself, why exactly did we go about using the original trailer introduction to the film? Well, it was actually because we weren't sure how much footage we were going to get. I mean, take for instance this thing right here. This is actually a little bit slowed down. You can tell by the jerkiness. This footage right back here in Daring Hall, we really had to slow down and to stretch to fit the natural timings and the music. And, I mean, we just took pictures of stuff that looked cool until we got bored and spliced it all together into an actual movie. And that's what you're watching right now. This is the commuter lot in the back of Daring Hall, which is where there's geology and biology and some other stuff here at Virginia Tech. Look, it's the Ugly Architecture Building. Here's a tracking shot. Peter, tell us a little bit about the tracking shots. Sure, yeah, okay, Peter. Well, the movie Koyaanisqatsi makes extensive use of tracking shots, and so we were trying to sort of replicate that in a homage, however you pronounce that, of sorts, to the original movie. And so we don't have a Steadicam, so it's really jerky. You can tell. Look, here we are walking to Dietrich. This is a group of people that I know. We just walked over to Dietrich one day, and I decided to film it, and I was really hoping it would come out smoother than this. But when you're trying to subtly hold a camera so people don't stare at you like you're crazy, it's kind of hard to do. And, I think I'll talk a little bit about the camera that we used. We used a Canon A70, which is just a handheld digital camera. We tried to take pictures of stuff and use natural shifts in the music, like this one, to shift between scenes so there is few unnatural cuts as possible. There are a couple of fades in it. We'll talk about those later. There's a couple of places where it gets especially jerky. We had to splice things together. We'll talk about those later. But right now, here we are going to West End. West End has great steaks. Our cinematographer was a big fan of it. Hey! Sorry, Peter. We were just walking through West End. Had to stop and splice some things together because the camera doesn't adjust its white balance very frequently. Just, walking around, taking pictures of stuff. It's really jerky, but I make this trip probably at least once a day. Go on West End, get some food, come back. And, here's another instance where we tried to use natural shifts in the music. I'll let our cinematographer talk a little bit about how we decided to pick what went where. Peter?
Hey, I didn't appreciate that steak comment, man.
I'm sorry, man. We'll go out and get some steaks.
Ooh, steaks.
Later, yeah.
So yeah, you can tell this is another shot that we've slowed down because this is a pre-existing score, as I've said, and we had to stretch things out to fit. You may recognize this from the beginning of the Don't Worry About the Government teaser trailer, except that was actually sped up a lot. I think it still works pretty well both ways. I panned slow enough that you couldn't really tell the difference. This is a bike rack and staircase down by one of the graduate student buildings near the Ag Quad. I've always thought this staircase looks really ominous and foreboding. It's got a new paint job this year, and I've gotten compliments on this scene as being one of the most appropriate uses of music. Peter, that was your idea.
Yeah, it was. I just thought it would be really cool to watch popcorn popping and sped up. And when we were putting together the movie, Peter and I both decided that it would be pretty cool if we put it with this music because, it just fits with the whole repetitive theme. We actually had to speed up this part a lot so that we could get it done in the amount of time covered by the music. You can tell in a couple of places the cameras kind of jumped abruptly. That's because we got purple haze in our camera. It's now been fixed under warranty, but the movie's done now, so it doesn't help that much. But so we just spliced it together and tried to take them out as best as possible.
Oh, Peter, you spotted this one. Yeah, I was walking across the drill field one day and I happened to have the camera in my backpack. I saw there were all these clouds and it was really windy. My hat almost blew off a couple of times. But, just took some pictures and sped it up. This is actually, the scene represents, I think, 15 minutes of footage. And it's too late now, but a tour group went past, because I think this was during some school's spring break. That was at the very beginning. You can go back and watch that if you care. But yeah. I just like sitting here and watching the clouds roll by over bursts. It generally gets more and more cloudy, and you can tell by the trees that it gets windier and windier. See, that's the problem with making this, this director's commentary. Well, A, I'm the cinematographer, not the director. And B, sometimes I just like watching. Because I think some of this stuff that we got is actually pretty cool. Now, our editor isn't here unless he just decides to drop by at some point, which would be really confusing because then there would be 3 of us named Peter in the same room. So I'm going to hope he stays away. But anyway, this is another one of the scenes that went on way too long. This is actually just me taking pictures out of our bathroom. The camera's propped up against the screen, and you can tell in a minute it slowly starts slipping downwards. Yeah, there it goes, there it goes. Slowly slipping down because it's losing friction because I was getting tired of holding it there for this long. And it almost looks like it was intentional, but now that you've watched this, you know it wasn't. Don't tell anybody. Okay? That'll be our little secret. Yep. This scene went way too long. But this is the physics room. I went to this class many times and sat in this exact same seat many times. In both Physics 2305 with awesome Dr. P. He's from Canada. You know why he was awesome? Because he gave out lots of A's. Yeah, I just heard that joke it made the other day. It was pretty funny. But this is Physics 2306. We had Jimmy Ritter, who was always a week behind and assigning us the homework versus teaching us what we needed to know for the homework. And I mean the bad way behind. There's a couple of shifts here from when the camera got the purple haze thing. I think there was one that I forgot to edit out, but we'll see if that's still there. Yeah, there's lots of people coming in. I thought this was rather fitting in keeping with the actual movie. Just a big crowd scene, lots of people walking in line for like gambling or something. There's a little bit of purple haze right there. Yeah, there's some more. Hey, look, it's Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy. Then we go into some scenes in the actual movie. We tried to match pretty frame by frame. I'll let Peter talk about that since that was kind of his job. Yeah, we kind of tried to just match what was happening in these scenes in the movie. Oh, I'm talking with my hands again. That's not going to help you in this commentary. We tried to match what was going on in the scenes in the movie with various clips that we got, just walking around taking pictures of things that we thought would look cool. Another bad thing about our camera is that, you know, you can't zoom in or out or anything. So this is actually slowly zooming out right now, if I remember correctly. And that's just a Windows Movie Maker effect. Since Peter isn't here, I'll talk about that. Oh, well, this is Owen's. Look, the person's gonna rub the other person on the back. Just wait for it. It's so touching, fitting with the somber mood of this music. Anyway, we used Windows Movie Maker. It's good, keeping with oh, there's the hand rub. It's good in keeping with the with our belief in not downloading anything to do anything with. So, yeah. But this is people walking across the drill field during a class change. I'm sitting right here on the stoop in front of War Memorial Chapel, in front of the pylons. I just kind of set my camera down and loitered around for a while. That was another thing about this movie. I wasn't sure how well the Virginia Tech people would take to it, but I've read somewhere that it's legal to take video footage of people as long as you don't use the audio. So that's what we're doing right now. There's actually a walkway about 3 feet in front of where this camera's sitting. So occasionally there'll be a person who just walks by and takes up the whole screen. But that's a risk we have to take in this dangerous filmmaking profession. Oh yes. I couldn't agree more, Peter. Yeah. So, why did they sit you closer to the mic?
I don't know. Maybe it's so that people can tell us apart pretty easily.
Okay. But yeah. Oh, yeah, there goes a person. If you listen carefully, you can hear the beginnings of a shift in the music. This is an artificial shift. We're taking out like 30 minutes of the movie or more here. Going between this and the grid sequence. It's got a nice slow fade going on there. This is one night we decided to go out to Walmart. Interesting story about that. I'll tell you when we get to Walmart later in the film. About my encounter with the Walmart front-end manager and finding out who my friends really are. But Peter wasn't there.
No, I wasn't. I was doing homework.
But yeah. So and now for a special cameo guest appearance by our building. Look, it's Hillcrest, artificially brightened up so you can actually see it. But yeah, had to add some white. Another trick of the trade, if you look at these streetlights right about here, everything slows down so that you can fit with the timing of the music and the shifts that we trying to exploit. But anyway, we're going to Walmart, and this is just me taking a picture out the side of the thing. And look, it's Will. Hey Will, do you want to be in the commentary?
Not particularly.
Okay, I'm just going to stand here and talk with other Peter.
Yeah, hi Will.
About stuff. Yeah, Will pretty much lives in this room, so yeah. Pretty much. Just playing video games all day. And this is at the duck pond. Ooh. It's all reflecty. Nifty and spiffy and stuff. Once again, me watching the movie. Here we are back in the physics lecture hall. This is the class before mine. The teacher did a much better job. Look, we're learning about Kirchhoff voltage law. There he is, teaching people that stuff. Unlike my teacher.
That's right.
That is correct. Man, I can't believe there's another 16 minutes of commentary to do. This is on the drill field tonight. There's McBride in the background. You can just barely see it.
But yeah, my favorite part of the movie's coming up, so maybe I can come up with some more interesting stuff to talk about with renewed vigor. Look, it's the pylons at Virginia Tech, yeah. The pylons have some symbolic meaning, which I can't recall at the moment, but they taught us about during orientation. If you can come to Tech, they will tell you all about them when you go on the tour. So, another great thing about filming at dining halls is that you get to go eat after you're done. Oh my goodness. Right here is Dietrich. Sped up really quickly. You remember Will we were just talking to? Yeah, he makes a guest appearance in this scene. Just wait for it. All the people walking back and forth, hurrying to get their food and their ice cream and go to class and whatnot. Oh, yep, that was his head. Oh, there he is again. Oh, yeah, that was him. So, this was one of our many D-Tuesday experiences, but this is probably the only one that we actually brought our camera on. And so, we took some pictures and sped them up, and they fit in with the scenes of the subway that are in the movie at this point. This is the same day we were filming the cloud sequence. This is just some random people walking across the drill field. And you know, it's a really good thing we didn't actually have to get permission from anybody to use them in this film, because there are a lot of just random people in this movie. And I hope they don't sue us. Okay, so here we are in Walmart. We went to Walmart to get a picture, to get some presents for our housekeeper for Christmas, the person who cleans all our bathrooms and stuff in the building. And so I was just, walking around,
hold my camera out in front of my face, taking pictures for being able to speed it up. And so I decided I was going to, take some pictures of the ceiling or something, just so that, because it's got a nice uniformly spaced grid of lamps. And so I'm doing that. I'm just scoping it out, and the front end manager comes up to me and he says, "May I ask you what you're doing?" And so everybody who I was hanging out with promptly disappears. It turns out I don't have any friends, apparently, because your friends would stick by you with that and, stand up to the man and whatnot. Not so. So I had to erase most of my pictures, but I managed to keep this one. Ooh, this is a hall sport. Yeah, that's right. This is us playing Connect 4. This is me and Chris, my good friends. He's in engineering. And I think I beat him 4 times during the making of this scene consecutively. Great guy. Shouldn't bet on Connect 4. Long story short. Yep. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, you don't get to see the end of that. This is actually the first footage we made for the movie. This is coming back to Tech after Thanksgiving break. It took us 6 hours to get here from Richmond, but it normally takes 3 because there was crazy traffic. So it was dark when we got here, but I almost think it's better this way because you get to drive through the repetitive lighting. It almost fits in with the music, kind of. So this is driving down Business 460 between Christiansburg and Blacksburg. Holding the camera on my knee. Try to keep it steady. Hang right on Southgate. Look, it's the stadium. Left. Hang right. Hang left. And now we're at Owens. This is not on that same trip, as you can tell. Look at those cashiers go. They're just swiping people's bookie passports right and left. This is one of the days after my 3-hour-long geology lab got out after an hour. And so, Peter and I have just come to Owens and film stuff. Set a camera down on a table in preparation for speeding it up. Took like 3 gigabytes of video this day. That's a lot. Yep. No line now. Here we are, getting ready for the Super Bowl. Gotta, string out a 75-foot long coax cable so you can run it into the dining room in my building and plug it into a projector, and this is the end right there. Oh, you missed it. Gotta walk quickly in these things for some subtle differences. This is back in Owens. This is just rotating the camera 90 degrees to the left. People putting up the trays, walking around. If you notice, we're gradually trying to raise the intensity, and it was a little too much for our video card to handle. Ooh, good story here. Okay, so they painted our building in an attempt to kill off all of the honor-student brain cells, and they left the door to the attic unlocked, and we found this cool jukebox. And so $80 later, a lot of the electrical engineers have fixed it up so now it plays 45s. It even has a iPod input. This scene doesn't fit at all with the music. And now that I've told you, I'm going to have to kill you through audio in some way. I'm working on it. Ooh, another Walmart scene I didn't have to delete. Just like the scene of the original movie when they're riding past all the checkout lines. And this is another scene that I like a lot. It's just waiting to go to physics class. That was the chemistry class getting out. I just bet the physics class is going to get out. There's people walking around really fast, trying to go to class, trying to pass. That's good stuff. That guy was nice enough to stand there for like 45 seconds without me asking. It's pretty cool watching the clouds going in and out on the floor here. But the physics class should be getting out any minute now. Yes, physics people run to your engineering class. This is that same trip to Walmart, just driving around the drill field. Even at 10 o'clock at night, you still have to wait for people walking across the drill field. It's better than doing class changes. That was the scene we wanted to get, but we couldn't find a good angle to do it without, you know, looking totally awkward. That scene's featured prominently in the Take the Highway Park and Come Up and See Me part in the trailer. But yeah, we were going to try to get pictures of lots of people walking across the street and cars just sitting there, but couldn't get that, so here's a car and a flying part. These are some little toys I had when I was a kid, and I was cleaning up my room, and I was like, hey, I don't need these anymore. Let me take them to school, and I can drop them down a stairwell. And that's what I did. This is Jeremy and Colin playing Axis and Allies. Sped up like 50 times, and even sped up this much it would take them hours to finish. This game takes like 8 hours to play because it's essentially reenacting World War II, which, as you know if you've studied history recently, took a very long time. Oh, there's the other car. This is the only scene I didn't film because it's got MacGyver in it. I mean, come on. Originally, when we put together the movie, we were going to end it with the trailer again, like we started it, but we couldn't come up with a good transition between the music, so we had to re-edit this so that it all worked with the film that we're doing. Maybe I should release an alternate ending. That would be pretty cool. Except my computer crashed and I lost the original formatting, so I'd have to put it back together again, which I'm really tired and I don't feel very inclined to do. But so this is supposed to be kind of the crescendo of the film. It's a lot better than the original format. Still kind of works now because it's Philip Glass music, so it all sounds the same. Just like, I don't know, rap, something. Fade to black. Okay. And now, try to recreate as much of the credits as possible. So essentially this is what happens, except there's a lot of pictures of wall art from olden times. And I think it's a Valley of Fire State Park or something. I can't remember. It's a whole bunch of Native American paintings.
Until now, you've never really seen the world you live in.
Ooh, that's so deep and meaningful. I'm so glad we kept it in. But if you stick around after the screen goes dark, you'll be rewarded with a replica of the closing credits, including this thing. You can tell that the word is slightly different because I found an actual font, a Koyaanisqatsi font to use, so that's where that came from. But if you watch the actual movie, this is pretty much a word-for-word takeoff on what it says during the credits. Tried to stick in a number of positions and stuff, and then try to add some things to make it all applicable. This reminds me of a movie that I used to watch when I was a kid. It was called Bambi vs. Godzilla, so you can imagine how that ends. And all the credits were the same guy, except one, and it was like, you know, produced by John Smith, directed by John Smith, edited by John Smith, and then like in the middle someplace was John Smith by Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which, if I had to do this again, I'd probably stick that in there someplace. Yeah, Godfrey Reggio, he came up with the idea for this movie and the other two. I've seen the second one. I don't think it's as good. I think the movie's better, but the music is better, but I don't think it's as coherent. I exported this movie in a whole crapload of different formats, which I'm going to keep on there until I need the disk space on the website. But right now we're watching the large version because it's the one that has the highest quality and doesn't make the credits go all distorted. Because since it's wider, it makes the lines break unevenly. So that's what we're watching right now. This guy's the guy who does all the vocals on the thing. And that guy's the person who came up with the actual font, and since I changed it and messed it all up, I got to put my name in there. Yes, there's an actual position for timer. I don't know what they were supposed to do, but I suppose I did it in this film. IRE, the Institute for Regional Education. I'd just like to say to them, please don't sue me. MasterCard, that was the MacGyver commercial. And of course, I had to bring Industrial Microsoft Paint and Magic into this to do some titles. Originally, it was prints by Deluxe, but nobody's making prints. And the credits start to go downhill from here, so here's the one about Dolby, which this film is in mono, I'm pretty sure, but we'll find out. Here's where I try to justify stealing the music from the film. But it's a very good film, so I decided to give it a nice plug. And where else would you buy it? From, so, timing. So, there we go. You should go watch the film right now. And if you don't own it, you should buy it. Where do we buy things from? From Amazon.com, of course. It's only like 13 bucks. It's a steal. You should go out and buy one right now. Buy 10. Give them away. They make great gifts. Here's the website that you had to go to watch this movie. So, it makes no sense for me to give it a plug in the title. But I might as well go ahead and say what's happening. Oh, you're watching that right now. The director, cinematographer, commentary. I've already got this filmed. I interviewed myself. See how that works. I did some making of stuff. That'll probably be a really short thing. So just keep checking back and you can watch all that. No, I'm not releasing the soundtrack. You have to make it yourself. I'm lazy. Okay, so thanks for listening to me blabber on for 28 minutes. Yes. Thank you. Enjoy the soothing sounds of a radio. Ooh, look, it's a secret message if you stick around at the end. What a surprise.
Now from your sure the original. Oh, you just missed it.